My name is Kudzai Manditereza from Industry 4.TV, and we're here at the Things Conference 2023 in Amsterdam. And right now, I'm joined by Xavier from SG Wireless. Xavier, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be with you today.
Awesome. So maybe could you begin by first introducing yourself to our audience and tell us more about SG Wireless?
For sure. So I'm Xavier Dupont. So I've been involved into IoT for the last 19 years now. I started my journey in 2004. So at the beginning, it was really an early concept. It was actually very hard to get to people to understand what we meant when we wanted to connect machine and what was the use. So it's been a pretty long journey. And during this journey, we deployed around 3 million devices all over the world, with some with success and some with a little bit less success. And that's something today that in SG Wireless we are trying to address by providing premium services into the IoT space. And we do that with a pretty unique approach. We are capable of coming up with design adapted to our customer. We have building blocks like these modules, which is covering 4 different technology. We are supporting the cellular networks, but also LoRaWAN, Wi-Fi, BLE, and it's programmable. This is a way for an engineers to start very quickly. We strongly believe in SD Wireless that the earlier you can put a solution on the field, the earlier you can get insights. And a little bit with a design thinking approach, you work by iteration, where you can have something working which fits a customer need by iterating quickly. So that's what we do, and we are able to scale. We have 4 factories in the world, one factory in China, another one in Malaysia, another one in UK and Mexico, because if you just leave your IoT products as a proof of concept and you don't think about how will you do when you have millions of devices on the field, your project will fail. And unfortunately, what I have seen is 80% of the IoT project fail. And they fail for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
And one of them is a lack of scalability, which is the number one.
Okay, perfect. So maybe let's kind of like dive a little bit deeper into this topic. As you already mentioned, you have been in this space for quite some time. So what I would like to find out from you is, what do you see as being like the biggest difficulties of getting IoT projects off the ground, and overall challenges in general with IoT projects?
So the biggest difficulties, I would say, over time, the first one was technology. We were using technology which were not fit to send critical data, and which were not achieving the reliability which a customer would need into its industry. For example, if you look about oil and gas industry, you have explosion-proof environments. You need to connect electric equipment, which communicates through radio. So this is very tough. So for very long, the technology was not as mature as we would expect. Then the second issue what we faced was the lack of clarity on the business case. Why do you need to connect? If we look back in the internet, back in the 90s, there was such an excitement about what we could do with internet, right? And there were startups everywhere. Like, okay, we're going to change the world. We're going to connect this. We are Amazon. We're going to deliver books for free, etc. It did happen for Amazon. How long it took? 15, 20 years. How many billions was poured in the company to make it happen? And in IoT, there was maybe not as much investment done and such a long-term vision from people which allowed really scalability to happen. So lack of visibility on the business case, lack of clear return on investments for deployments, and weakness on the technology. That's some of the hurdles that many companies have seen faced, which leads to this very sad but improving statistics that 80% of the IoT projects don't go beyond proof of concept.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, just another thing that I would like to get your thoughts on is on the, just before this, we jumped onto this call, we are talking about the need for identifying, like the importance of identifying an end-to-end solution. Can you maybe kind of like elaborate more on that to say, what is the importance of identifying like an end-to-end solution to help lower the barriers of entry?
Thank you. So that's a very good question. End-to-end to me is one of the key.
Yep.
in a technology industry, unfortunately, we hear too often, my technology is the best. And the other technology is not as good, you cannot do as many things. It's not that easy. In the end, and this is what we've seen in the LP1 area, there was 3 technologies fighting. You know, I went through the first era, which was the Zigbee era. And when Zigbee came back in 2009, everybody was so excited, there would be billions of devices connected. It did not happen. Zigbee did like this, boom, and down. And then it became a failure. Then 10 years after, LP1 came, Sigfox, LoRaWAN, NB-IoT started to fight. I could see my customer getting confused, which technology I need to use. And then the discussion was not about which problem I solved and how do I make it happen in an end-to-end way, but which technology I pick. And it just became a mess. So I strongly believe if you don't think end-to-end, which is from sensing the data on how do you visualize the data to make it simpler for your customer, so the customer can focus into his business. A customer, what does he want with IoT? He wants 3 things. He wants to reduce his costs, he wants to have better customer service, or he wants to generate a new source of income through services. That's what he should be looking at, and not picking the right technology or focusing into a technology bricks. I give you an example of a real case that I went through. It was a city in the US which deployed a smart traffic light system, very expensive system, very complex. And what they did is, without realizing, they introduced a weak point on the power supply. During the summertime, there was more than 100 power supply burning every week. The cost for sending a truck to change the power supply was between 500 and 1,000 US dollars. They lost millions of dollars, while the tender was very tough. We had to negotiate for $10. In the end, they lost millions just by not looking at end-to-end and not looking at having the right partners to bring this to the market.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for that case study. I think it really helps bring things to perspective, because that's one of the things that I was about to ask you to say. Can you maybe share an example? So thank you so much for that. Now, maybe do you have any other message for those who are watching online or anyone who's here on this show today?
I would say if you want to get involved into IoT, I think it's very critical not to underestimate the complexity and the technology. How does this technology apply to your business? But first is really, how do I define my KPI? Why do I define how I will make money with this thing? And then after that, we can start to think, okay, we can think about technology, budget, so selecting the right partners. What we do at SG Wireless is to accompany our customer to define its metrics to success. We deploy within 90 days a proof of concept, and we can manufacturers, and we will ensure that the product will be ready to scale in one of our factory and able to sell and deploy by millions. We've also a very disruptive approach, which is to adapt our business model to our customer. We came up with the concept of hardware as a service, where we will be trying to move the market from a CapEx approach to an OpEx approach, where we will be selling a monthly fee to provide a complete system.
Okay, perfect. Xavier, thank you so much for stopping by. It was really great chatting to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.